Hello again. So in a few days I'm going to Poland and then Ukraine, but before that I will probably make a few more videos, but this is probably the last one about bicycling at the moment. The rest will be a few things about human behavior, which is of course also important to understand what people do and say in any topic, including cycling. It's been part of my website also for almost since the beginning. For example, the explanation of behavior of people to defend the Sun 28 dynamo hub, whereas I didn't like it because of the vibrations. Other people think, yeah, it's the best hub, but it's not as a product. Mechanically, I would say it still is the best one, but as a product, I find it unpalatable. So why do people defend it? Not because it's the best, but because they want to believe that they bought the best product. And that's what I originally bought it for as well. But I didn't fool myself. I thought, yeah, this is not unacceptable. I'm going to try some other hub and see what happens. This guy in the background is one of the persons I will discuss in these videos. It's about manipulation. And manipulation has been one of the things that's been, that's interesting to me. Is probably the wrong word. It's been of something that I encountered and found extremely annoying, the way who people try to manipulate other people. But okay, that's for another video. I will go now about linear versus round and other drives. And I will start with this video.
The bicycle is the most efficient form of human-powered transportation. And today we are going to attempt to make it much more efficient.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to make it. Let's see what it is. The construction is not interesting. Well, it's interesting, but I mean, it's not important. So he has this method. It's a linear drive, and it's not really new. But do you think that is really more efficient than a round drive, standard cycling? I did some analysis about it because, of course, you have this whole cylinder which moves, and you can see it. And you have these linear bearings. These cost energy. And you need to accelerate the linear cylinder. So do you lose a lot of power from the resistance of this drive? Well, let's look at, for example, this. This is RJ the Bike Guy, which is one of the few channels that I can really recommend as being always good, but it's only useful if you really want to repair things. Well, it can be interesting, of course, to just see things you don't know about, and this is one of them. It's really a really interesting video. He also shows how to ride. Here it goes.
Well, I know somebody's going to ask me where to buy a bike like this. Well,
yeah, I'm not really interested in buying a bike. Well, it would be interesting to try one out. But do you think this is more efficient than round cycling or than the other video where you have a cylinder going and linear bearings? So here you have just two pieces of chain, but they are connected. So you have some resistance losses here, but they don't need to be high. It can be very low. And two free wheels, so the chain is only being pulled up a little bit, then goes back again, and on the other side as well. Do you think this is more efficient, or the round drive, or the other truly linear? Because this is not quite linear, because there's a rotational movement, but it's almost linear. Then you can also think about the moeve system. I criticized that in a video long ago. I sent a challenge to moeve on one of their videos and they responded, but then they did not respond to my email, which they said to send them. So yeah, since then, of course, they're on my boycott list. I'm not interested. In principle, I think the moeve system could work, as I explained somewhere, but which many people who criticize it do not understand. And the point is that in cycling you have balance between finding what's useful and possible. So many people cycle, for example, not in the city 15 kilometers per hour because they can't go faster, but because it's very easy to do. So what do you have? You have the force. The force needs to be lower than a comfortable force. If you want people to cycle at a certain speed, the power needs to be at a certain power level, below the point where they are sweating so much, where they have lactic acid, etc. Then you have the pedal frequency. That's also one thing I made videos about. The pedal frequency, the range of that determines how many gears you should have. And the pedal frequency in a certain region. Now, what do you have, for example, with the moeve system? You don't have this. This is not a circle, but it's a little bit closer to the center here at the rear, and then has a longer range here, which means effectively here the crank is lengthened, but the crank, the total circumference here is smaller than that of the circle. This means that I think this can work in making people give more power, give a slightly higher pedaling cadence without it becoming uncomfortable, because you don't need to move your feet as much, but I don't think that's much. It means that the force will be a bit lower, but you need to move a bit faster, but that's fine because you don't need to move your feet around here so much. So I think the moeve system could work, but it's only a small amount, and it will not work, for example, for professional cyclists, because they are limited in the power that they can put out over very long durations. For example, a time trial, it will be absolutely useless. This could be useful to make also people put in more power over short distances, therefore training them even while they do not realize they're training. So, I mean, they go on a short trip to a shop, for example, of a few kilometers, and they pedal fairly hard, and they come slightly sweaty there, which otherwise wouldn't, because it feels easy going in force, I mean. The power you only feel afterwards, unless it's very high power, then you feel it almost immediately. But normally the sweating and the lactic acids comes much later. So that's a bit of an overview. 3 different systems. Which do you think is better? Which is more efficient? I made some calculations, and I got a very interesting results, and I made some realizations from just theoretical analysis. And I will probably make a video about that on my trip when I'm in Poland or Ukraine. Probably Ukraine, because I will only stay a few days in Poland. That's it for now. See you in the next video. Bye.